everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video where I'm going to be talking about sleeping and toddlers or 2-year-olds, or in our case, you probably will guess from the title of this video, not sleeping, specifically not sleeping through the night or not sleeping through and having wake-ups during the night. So my son Arthur is 2, coming up to 2.5, and he is still waking up at night, and I just really wanted to talk a bit about waking through the night kind of at this age, because I think it's not spoken about enough and kind of not really normalised. I have also had a couple of requests kind of filming this type of thing, so I hope that you enjoy it. So I'll kind of speak about our experience really and kind of our current situation regarding sleep, and then at the end of the video I'll also kind of talk a bit about co-sleeping and then like breastfeeding and co-sleeping, because obviously that is what we do. So yeah, I hope that you enjoy it and that is helpful, or maybe that it's reassuring to you if you are in a similar position. So as I kind of referred to, I really wanted to film this video because I just think it's not talked about enough, and also that sleep is just a really big topic when it comes to parenting. And I think even before probably even before you're pregnant actually, like I remember, I don't know, you kind of just have like, you just know, don't you, that babies don't sleep, you know, it's kind of like the thing, or that being a parent you're always tired. And I guess, I don't know, I think I always just probably assumed that younger babies wake up a lot during the night, and then I think when people talk about being tired and the children are a bit older, I think I always just assumed that was probably because they wake up early, you know, they might wake up at like 6 a.m. and come into your bedroom, that type of thing. I don't think I ever really thought about children waking up during the night, and maybe that's the part of the problem, is because it's not talked about, maybe it's not shown, like maybe it's not portrayed even in the media, I don't know. Yeah, so I just kind of wanted to speak about it really. I understand why it is spoken about, because I think sleep and sleep deprivation it's not nice, and I think we all know like a lack of sleep for us and for anyone, not just if you're a parent, but for anyone, it can really take a toll on both your physical health and your mental health. So it is important and it is a big deal, and that some babies will wake up constantly, you know, they don't sleep well at night, and that is really awful. For us, Arthur has always been like okay, it's not never been like a terrible issue. If you'd have asked me, you know, what's like the biggest challenge or the most difficult thing, for me I wouldn't actually say sleep. I know that is different for some. Having said that, as I said, he does still wake up in the night, but yeah, it's definitely not the hardest thing for me, but I know for a lot of people it is the hardest thing. So I completely understand why it's such a big issue, but I definitely think it seems to be more focused on when they are very young, and then like as they get older, I don't know, maybe people seem to ask less. Obviously some children do start sleeping through the night, or you know, they do wake up a bit less through the night, so it's spoken about a bit less as well. But I just think because it's not shown and not discussed, it's kind of like a circular thing really, so then people stop maybe sharing it, but it can do because it's not spoken about, so then we're not sharing it, but that in turn means other people don't know it's a thing either. So I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, it just kind of goes on and on really. It's just a bit of a cycle, you know, it's not spoken about, and then that means people think it's abnormal when they do hear that a child isn't sleeping through, whether that's like, you know, if they're 1, if they're 2, if they're 3, or however old they are. So I'm here to kind of share that yes, my 2-year-old does still wake up in the night, and yes, it is normal. And I'm not saying it's abnormal if your child does sleep through, of course not. So I did actually do a poll on Instagram. I thought it'd just be interesting. It was a little, well, like I don't know, probably a month or so ago. Just kind of in like preparation for this video really. I mean, I didn't get like thousands of people replying, so obviously it's a very small poll, but it was about 50-50 on if people's toddlers still wake up, like at all. So I think only about 50% say they never wake up, or like maybe on the odd occasion, maybe it's if they're ill or something, but and then the other 50% they do wake up. Co-sleeping was a minority, it was about less than 10%, although there were some more people that said at some point their child does come into their bedroom. And then about 30% of people said that their toddler goes back to sleep independently, and everyone else kind of goes to them, and most of the children go back to sleep quickly. And I also asked a question about, do you feel judged about your toddler still waking up in the night? And 40% of people say yes they do, which I think is quite a high number. And I don't know if I feel judged necessarily, but I do feel like I've had people question it, and it can feel a bit, I guess it is a bit like, not judged, I don't know, but they kind of feel, it feels to me like they don't think it's normal. So yeah, and then I also asked, like, does it bother the parents? And only a very few people said that it really bothers them. Some people say, yeah, like, you know, it is a bit, but it's not too bad. But for most people, it didn't really bother them, which is good. And 60% of people do get asked if their children still wake up, which I actually thought that's a higher number than what I thought. I actually thought people wouldn't get asked that often, but it's still 60%. And then co-sleep and breastfeeding, I asked, do you think your toddler's wake because they like sense you? And that was a bit of a split one, really. And then the final one, which I just wanted to share with you, is, do you feel sleep deprived? And it was actually pretty equal, whether people said yes or no. And then kind of like another, you know, the same amount of people, there's like a third option, where they say, you know, yes, you probably are sleep deprived, but you're okay with it, which I think is probably what I would answer, because I probably am, although that's probably my fault. I could go to bed earlier, but you know what it's like when Arthur goes to sleep in the evening, then it's just my time to, like, I'll have a cup of tea, and then I'll do a bit of editing on YouTube, and then I might like go on Instagram, and just having time to do that kind of thing, you know, and I'll have like something else to eat, and yeah, so I could, so it's not his fault, to be fair. And also, there, I did see a really good poll, but I couldn't find it last night. I was looking, like, but I couldn't find it on her Instagram. I'm pretty sure it was on, I think her name is Lucy Webber. She's a breastfeeding consultant, lactation consultant, and she'd asked on her Instagram a little while ago, like, about children waking up, and it was her results. I mean, she obviously got thousands of replies as well, so probably a lot more accurate. However, having said that, probably a lot of the mums were breastfeeding, which I don't know if that plays a part. But yeah, it was like 80-90% of like toddlers, she's at different ages, but it was really high, we're still waking up in the night. So yeah, I just really want to reassure you that it is normal. I know that doesn't necessarily make it easier if you are struggling with it, but just know that it's normal. So please, like, talk about it, and like maybe comment below your experience, you know, where you are, how old your child is, and yeah, how much they're waking up, because it'd be interesting, I'd like to know as well. And yeah, I just think to kind of like start a conversation so that we don't feel, because we shouldn't feel like embarrassed by it, and I think other people shouldn't kind of question us as if it's something either wrong with, like, something wrong with what we're doing or something wrong with our children, because it's probably not. It's normal, they wake up, they're young. So they could also be waking up for so many different reasons. It could be, obviously around this age, a lot of changes going on. I mean, Arthur doesn't go to nursery, but obviously a lot of young children are around this age. It could be like the temperature is wrong. It could be it's too bright in the room. It could be something to do with like being too overtired. Also that like separation anxiety, and apparently they start getting nightmares around like the toddler, like I think it's like in their second year maybe, they start getting nightmares and stuff because their imagination is developing. So it's a bit of a difficult time for them. So it's not a surprise that many toddlers do still wake up in the night. And I think there is a massive thing in society about even babies like needing to self-settle, but actually I was reading a article by, I think her name is Sarah Ockwell-Smith, and she does a lot about like gentle parenting and calm parenting, and basically it's physically not possible for them. They can't regulate their emotions at this age, just because their brains aren't developed enough yet. And I don't think it is maybe until they're like 5 or something like that, so they can't self-soothe. So I think it's okay, you know, like if they wake up then they might go back to sleep by themselves, but I think it's more like if they're upset and they wake up, they can't actually be taught to self-soothe. I think what they're actually being taught is if you don't go to them when they're distressed, it's just they then just kind of begin to learn that actually if they're upset no one will come, which sounds like really harsh, but yeah, apparently they don't self-soothe. So that is kind of more like their thinking, which is, yeah, I mean, I don't even try to explain it because it was quite in depth, but I will leave a link to the article if you're interested. So yeah, that's kind of a bit about like the background and what I feel about it. So moving on to Arthur's sleep. So if you're new and you don't know, as I said earlier, he is 2.5 almost in about a week's time, and he is our only child as well. And yeah, he does wake in the night still, so it's not much, it's only maybe like once or twice, but it is every night, so he doesn't like sleep through the whole night. But I definitely feel like there have been times where he's probably slept a bit longer, and then I've woken up and been like, oh, you know, you get, definitely when they're younger, you can probably relate as well. You know, when they like sleep longer and you wake up and you think, you get that like sudden almost like panicky feeling, are they okay? You know, are they breathing? So sometimes that's happened, but generally he does wake me up. There have also been phases, and it kind of comes like for a few days, maybe a week, and then it goes away again, where he wakes up and he's just awake for, it might be quite a long time. Sometimes it's been where he's seemed quite awake and like he wants to play or he wants to read, and it's like 4 a.m. Or sometimes he just keeps wanting to like feed. As I say, I'm still breastfeeding. He keeps wanting like to come for a feed, and then he'll like drop off, and then he'll like wake up straight away again. He just can't quite get back to sleep. So we have phases of that, but in general he will sleep and then just wake up 1 to 2 times. So I always breastfeed him back to sleep as well. So obviously if you're not breastfeeding, this might not interest you, but if you are like me, I don't see anything wrong with feeding them back to sleep. I think that is what nature intended. So if you are still breastfeeding, please don't, and you want to do, obviously if you don't want to, that's fine, you know, and you know, I know people might like rock them back to sleep or pat their bums or whatever, but you know, if you want to still feed them to sleep, then please know that that's fine. That, I think that's what nature intends you to do, really, and that's what comforts them. So I know some people feel like they shouldn't be doing it, but please don't worry. But yeah, that's what I do. So anytime that he wakes up, or sometimes even if he stirs, so it's hard because I don't like track it. I'm not awake enough in the night to like log it, probably like I would have done, you know, going back when he was like 6 months old. I would like log everything, like write it down on my phone. Now I don't wake up enough for that, maybe because I guess it's still like, sometimes he half wakes, and because we co-sleep, I just like feed him and we kind of both drift back off, you know, and we don't, I'm not like fully awake and neither is he. And it's really quick as well. So I say he wakes up a couple of times. Is it more? I'm not really sure. It's not massively so. And like I say, it's not usually for a long period of time. So co-sleeping wise, he does sleep in the bed here. So as you can see, we've still got the cot. So because he originally was in a snooze pod when he was young, he grew out of that when he was about like 9-10 months old, because he wasn't like trying to climb out or anything. So that actually lasted for quite a long time. Then we got the cot and he was in it, and then I don't know at what point he started to come into bed a bit, and I would find that I would get him out and I'd start like feeding him, and then I'd like drop off, sat up, it'd be really uncomfortable, and you know, he'd still be in my arms, so it wasn't great. So at some point we just decided he would just stay in the bed because it was easier and we both get more sleep. And this is like we got this bed, I don't know when, but we used to have a double. This is now king size, so we have got that bit extra room, which is definitely needed. But yeah, so he co-sleeps, sleeps next to me, and like I say, it is just lots easier. And I do think probably that like breastfeeding and co-sleeping go like hand in hand, but obviously it's not true for everyone. So everyone who breastfeeds won't co-sleep, and everyone who co-sleeps doesn't necessarily breastfeed. But I do definitely think there's like a correlation between the two, because it's just easier. Like I say, he can like feed led down, and that was the thing as well. Like before I had to get him in the cot, I couldn't really lie down with him because then I would fall asleep, which I wasn't like set up for it. There was also a stage where he wouldn't want to breastfeed led down for whatever reason, but he does now, which is really good because I think we both get the most sleep that way. So yeah, he's 2.5, he's still in with us, you know, so he's never been in his own room. Obviously a lot of people watching this, I'm sure you will have already got them in a different room, which is fine as well. And who's to say, like, you know, if he would sleep better, I don't know, but I'm not bothered. He's not, you know, I'm not like at a position where I think, oh, you know, I'm desperate for some sleep, so let's try him in another room, because I just think he's fine next to me. I enjoy cuddling him and he gets the comfort. I'm right next to him, and you know, if he does stir and wake up, it's just a really quick fix, really. It's just like a comfort, breastfeed on me and he goes back to sleep. And also I think because we breastfeed and co-sleep, I feel like we're kind of like in sync. So it's like if he stirs, I stir. But I don't see that as a bad thing. I think it means that like I can get there straight away to help him fall back to sleep, if that makes sense. Apologies for this really random clip, but I was editing my video last night and there was just a couple of extra things that I wanted to say, and I think they're quite important, and I feel like you won't get a full picture of Arthur's sleep situation without these little bits of information. So sorry this is a bit random. I don't ever do this, but you know, I didn't have time to film the whole thing again. So I also wanted to say another phase that Arthur does sometimes is, because although I say in general he only wakes up a couple of times a night, which is true most of the time, I didn't tell you about like the worst nights, so I must tell you that so you can get like the full picture. But there are some nights, and they are quite infrequent, which is probably why I forgot to mention it yesterday when I filmed this. But he did do it last night, typically. I think probably because it was really, really hot last night, so that's why. But sometimes I can't really put my finger on it why it happens. But there are some nights when he wakes up a lot, as in, I mean, I don't know, like it's multiple times. It's not 2, 3, 4 times, it is more than that, and it feels like as soon as I put him down and I go to sleep, it wakes back up again, and he wants another feed. So yeah, it did happen last night, as I said, which I think was down to the heat really, but it has happened a few times. Like I say, it hasn't happened for a while, and I think it definitely has lessened in general over however like many months, so it doesn't happen as often anymore, but I guess it still has the potential to happen sometimes. And sometimes, especially on those nights, I feel like he doesn't always want to feed lying down, which I know I've kind of like made reference to in the main part of this video, but sometimes like last night I did have to sit up quite a few times, and that's really difficult, and that's kind of why I wanted to make sure that I put this bit in, because I feel like I might have made it sound like, oh, you know, like, yeah, he wakes up a couple of times and is fine, but there are some nights, although it's not very often, there are some nights where it is really hard, because it is very hard. And going back, maybe, I don't know, if I was filming this 3 months ago, this was happening probably more often, and it is really difficult when you are tired, you know, and I've got to keep sitting up to feed him, and then it's, you know, I've got to try and stay awake whilst he's feeding, or I'll like nod off, you know, and I'll put him back down and then he might wake up again. So it's really difficult, and we were very tired this morning, both of us, and because of that we did actually sleep in a bit longer. So I don't know like where this bit is going to go, but I talk about the routine, which we've been in like a really good routine like the past week or something, but like, you know, like really good, like waking up early, then the nap is early, and then bedtime is early. It's been good, but because we had such an unsettled night last night, we didn't wake up until a lot later than usual. So I mean, I set my alarm anyway, but I slept through it, and yeah, so probably it's going to be a later bedtime tonight. It's already been a late nap, we've been out as well. So yeah, it just changes. It just takes one thing like that, you know, just one bad night of sleep, and then that means we're extra tired, so that kind of affects the rest of the day's sleep, as you were. And then the other thing that I wanted to say really quickly was about how long he feeds for sometimes when he wakes up, because again, I feel like I breezed through that bit and made it sound like it is just a few minutes and it's really short, which probably mainly it is, but there are times when it is a longer feed, and sometimes I am led there or sat there and it does feel like it is quite a long time and I'm awake. Sometimes he also does wake up at around, it's probably really when we're like going to bed, like 12 at night maybe, and he's been asleep for a few hours and we probably disturb him, or he can like hear us in the bathroom or whatever, I'm not sure, but very occasionally, not often, he will wake up. And yeah, sometimes he will have a feed then, and it seems like really long. I don't know how long, because like I said, I don't time it, so whether it's 10 minutes, might be 15, I don't know, but it is long. So yeah, they're not always really short. So I just kind of wanted to add that bit of information in, really, just so that you get like the full rounded picture. It varies so much. If I was filming this a month ago, I'd probably be saying something different, and you know, another month it might be slightly different again, but just in general, he obviously wakes during the night still, breastfeeds to sleep at night, and yeah, like the number of times can vary, but yeah. So hopefully that will give you a better idea. So I have had questions from people kind of saying, oh, you know, is he like, why is he waking up? You know, is something wrong? Oh, do you think he's hungry? Do you think it's this? Do you think it could be that? And yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe, but I don't think it's anything that I've done or I'm not doing. You know, I think it's just him and it's normal. Like, we stir during the night as well. Like, as adults, we might stir, we might be a bit thirsty, we might need a wee or something, you know, a noise outside, or we might have a bad dream. Like, we get woken up as well as adults, so why should we expect young children who are going through an awful lot of stuff, like I said, like their brain is developing crazily at this age, so why would we expect them to like sleep through and not need any comfort as well? So yeah, I definitely think it's a thing that needs to be spoken about more, just so that other people understand, and also like for us mums to kind of feel reassured that there are other people in the same boat as us, and it's nothing to like worry about or be ashamed about either. I also think, and I can't speak about this from personal experience because I'm not like back at work, but you know, I just also think for people that have gone back to work, and maybe when they first get back, people might, you know, ask them, oh, you know, did you sleep okay last night? And then I can imagine there's probably like a point where people stop asking, and whether that's because they feel like embarrassed to, or whether they just assume that, oh, well, you know, your child is 2 now, surely they're sleeping through. But it must be hard if you're like going into work or whatever and you're still feeling tired but you're not getting that like empathy still. I don't know, I can just imagine that's the thing. But yeah, I would love to hear your experiences, and I feel like there's probably more that I want to say, but I don't also want to like ramble on. It's just meant to be like a video really for people to know that, yeah, it's just for me to share our situation, if you're interested, and know that it is normal. If you want to know about naps, by the way, I don't know if that's a thing. I don't know if it's kind of too much to put in this video, but I guess can quickly say Arthur has, I guess, 1 nap during a day still. He doesn't sleep for like, you know, like overnight. It's not like 12 hours, it's probably like only 10 hours. And then in the day, I kind of feel like an hour and a half at the maximum is probably a good time. Unless he's woken up super early and then he's had like a really early nap, I might let him go a bit longer. But it's kind of changes, and I feel like just sometimes something will happen and then like it can like change the whole routine again. So if you want to know maybe more about routine, I could maybe do that in a separate video, or maybe I could do like a question and answer video. I'm not sure, let me know. I have filmed a bedtime routine fairly recently, and I'm trying to think, I think it's probably still like what we do. We don't bath Arthur every night, which is kind of something we've always done because he has eczema, although it's kind of like, it's actually really under control now, his skin's amazing, but you know, we're just kind of stuck with it, and I don't want to like maybe exacerbate his skin, so we don't do that. But we definitely, yeah, we kind of let him have a bit of like loud play, like, especially now in the summer, like he's out in the garden like a bit later. It depends how late tea is, maybe a bit after tea, but not if it's too close to bedtime, because then also you want to like calm him down after. But yeah, we bring him up here and we just get ready for bed really, and then we're in bed, like me, Matt, my husband, will be here as well, and we'll just read books to Arthur. He can sometimes get a bit, I guess sometimes if he's a bit overtired, he'll get a bit excitable, so it's kind of like trying to calm him down, and then like Matt will leave because then Arthur will kind of settle a bit better then, I don't know why, but yeah, so that's kind of our routine. So I hope that this video was kind of everything to you which you hoped it would be when you clicked on it, but thank you for watching. Please do comment below if you've got any questions, or if you'd like to see any other videos in this kind of field. And yeah, I hope it was like interesting and reassuring really, but please do subscribe if you are new. I post lots of like mum life, motherhood videos. I try and be quite like a calm and gentle parent, but that's not to say it's something that happens all the time, but that's kind of, I guess, like where I try to come from. And as I've said, I'm still breastfeeding. I post things about our routines. I post about breastfeeding quite a lot. Day in the life vlogs, I post what we eat in a day. I do my food tours as well, and yeah, like lots of bits of other things really. So yeah, do subscribe if you'd like to stick around. But thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye everyone.